Hello, my name is Bambaji, and I'd like to talk to you about the Global Consciousness Program. You may have heard about the Global Consciousness Program or the locks and the keys, but not really know what these terms mean. So this is my kind of brief explanation, sort of summary for you. For most of human history, we have assumed that the world changes because of people or politics or some kind of crisis. And that can be true, of course, in our experience. But beneath all of that, there is something quieter and actually far more consistent at work. It's a background frequency that sets the tone for how humanity as a whole experiences life. For thousands of years, we have lived inside repeating cycles. And some of these cycles are obvious. We have day and night, and we have the seasons, and we have our lifetimes. Others are larger cycles, and they are far less visible, and yet they quietly shape how we relate to one another. These cycles don't dictate personal events, but they do shape what is supported, what flourishes, and what begins to break down when things change. And that again is across civilization globally. One of these larger patterns is called the Global Consciousness Program. And we can think of it as a bit like an operating system that the planet is running on at any given time. It describes the background frequency that influences the entire planet, not general or personal psychology. It's not individual destiny. This is more the atmosphere that we're all born into, the water we swim in, whether we're aware of it or not. The last time this background frequency changed was in 1615, and every human alive today, and since that time, has been born into the same cycle. We have never known anything else. And because this has been our background frequency for all of recorded modern history, we rarely question it. We assume that this is just how life works, and we give our authority away to systems and leaders and institutions and experts, and we expect the world to look after us in exchange for our participation. The global program, it moves in cycles of roughly 412 years. Each cycle carries a particular flavor, a set of priorities that shape society and shape collective behavior within those societies. What makes this program fascinating, one of the things, is that some elements never change, while other elements do. Just like in our daily lives, there are constants and there are variables. At the heart of this system is a very simple mechanic that is called the locks and the keys. There are 8 fundamental themes that have remained fixed and constant for millennia. These are elements that do not come and go. They are always present. And they relate to love, 4 of them, and the other 4 relate to direction. And together they form an enduring kind of lens through which human experience unfolds. I'm not sure experience can unfold through a lens, but you know what I mean. And it doesn't matter what era we're in. These locks, they're there, and this is the way we experience life. They provide continuity across time. Love and direction are always part of the human story. Love and direction are fundamental. You could say they are built in. They stay the same, but what changes era to era are the keys. So the keys are active forces and they rotate every 412 years or so. And each key fits into a specific lock. So there are, again, 8 keys, so one for each of the locks. And each key conditions how that lock is experienced through a particular era. So again, think of the locks as a lens. Maybe you think of if you've got the camera, and then the lock is the lens, and then the key is the filter that goes over that lens. So the lens never changes, it stays the same, but the quality of light passing through it changes. So the the last global cycle change was in 1615, as I said. And since then, the keys that have been shaping our world have been focused on collective bargains, community, growth, skills, continuity, finding inner truth, and collective organization. The keys perfectly and precisely describe why the last 4 centuries have been defined by expansion in various ways. Now, we've had population growth, industrial growth, technological growth, medicine and health innovations, global trade, global communication, global community. Family bargains are part of this makeup, the loyalty and the productivity and the contribution to the whole. These have all been central values, but cycles do not last forever. No cycle lasts forever. And as a global cycle comes to its close, the keys that have been shaping it, they begin to deteriorate. They no longer function cleanly. And this is what we are witnessing in our world now. It's a distortion, kind of an exhaustion, really. It's a breakdown in the very systems that once supported us and provided stability. This is not a moral failure or a political conspiracy. This is mechanical. It happens every time a cycle ends, and we are in that closing phase right now. At the same time as the old keys are deteriorating, the keys of the new era are coming into their strength, and they are beginning to exert an influence. And they bring a very different flavor to the same locks. It's the filters that are changing. The locks of love and direction do not disappear. They are going to be experienced in a radically new way. So where our current outgoing cycle focuses on community and mutual dependence, the coming cycle emphasizes individuality, self-responsibility, and survival through authenticity. The new keys do not support community in the way we have known it. They do not reward sacrifice and conformity or loyalty for the group. They do not provide the same safety nets or agreements or bargains or kind of collective protection. And we can see this in the breakdown of institutions and the erosion of trust in authority and the exhaustion of growth for growth's sake. The growing pressure people are feeling to find out what is true for them beneath all the noise in the world. The influence of the new keys stresses individuality, knowing ourselves, standing alone when necessary, and taking responsibility for our life, operating from inner authority rather than external support. The coming era is fundamentally individual in nature. Individuality matters. Individuality is it's required. Individuality is the new survival skill. And this is not about being selfish, not in the moral sense. It's about enlightened selfishness. It's knowing yourself well enough to live correctly, because only from that place can anything of real value be transmitted or shared. In a world that no longer promises support through structures or agreements, knowing how to listen to yourself becomes essential. This is why so many systems feel strained or outdated or brittle right now. It's not because something's gone wrong. It's because the keys are loosening. We're living in the overlap between cycles, and we have no historical template or blueprint for this event. All we have is a sort of vague feeling of uncertainty as our world rearranges itself. The old keys are failing and the new ones are not yet fully established. But the change is alive. and it's a little bit uncomfortable. The formal handover, you could call it, happens in February of 2027. Like all change, there is a lead in and a lead out. For these evolutionary shifts that are on a grand scale, the transition unfolds over many years. But there is a moment when the background frequency officially changes, a clear turning point that separates those born in one global program from the next. And none of this is personal. The Global Consciousness Program is not aimed at you or against you. It is not here to punish you or reward you. It's simply moving the way the seasons move. And like any seasonal change, those who understand the climate can adapt more gracefully. The climate here is adapting gracefully. The question is not how to stop it, but how to navigate it. Because the world ahead will not ask you to belong, it will ask you to be yourself. Understanding the locks and the keys gives us context. Get my teeth in. It gives us context. Why the world feels the way it does right now. Why old solutions no longer seem to work. And it also points to what is really going to matter going forward, which is knowing yourself, trusting your own authority, and learning how to operate correctly as an individual in a world that will offer far less external support. And this is not a prediction of doom. It's not a spiritual fantasy. It is a practical framework for understanding where we are, what is ending, what is beginning, and how to meet it. I hope this has brought a little clarity to those key words, the locks and the keys and the Global Consciousness Program. They are fascinating parts of our experience and and very alive in our world right now as we see the change around us. Yeah, so any questions, drop me a line. Take care, and I'll see you again.